Hola y bienvenido al episodio 47 de Across America con Jack Austin and Robert Lamb.
Is that accurate?
No, it's not. It's
Okay.
Google Translate, so it's probably really bad.
Oh, that's what you did?
Yeah.
I thought you were texting someone.
No. That was not me. How's everybody doing? Episode 47 of Across America, and coincidentally, we just got done recording half of the finale for the walk story, which is the dramatization of what happened here, starring Robert Lamb.
Well, starring you, but this podcast really is starring me.
Right. No, it totally is. Without you, there's really no podcast.
I mean, there could be a podcast. It's just not called
Yeah.
Across America at that point.
I mean, what are we going to talk about when we're done? We're not going to call it Across America.
We just changed the title to something like Jack and Robert Happy Hour or something like that.
Happy hour.
Even though we don't talk for an hour,
would need
and
to have beers.
neither of us are happy.
No.
Or drinking.
I'm miserable.
Yeah, every time we record this, you're like, damn it.
Oh, my God.
Another one?
Across America, huh?
When do you finish?
You know I'm not paying attention because every time you say, let's do Across America, I go, what's it about?
Yeah, you're like, sure, whatever. I'll sit in.
Across America.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, well.
Last we left off.
I hit, not physically.
Yeah.
Well, I guess physically.
Okay.
But I didn't, like, smack it.
No.
But I hit
Yeah.
the state of Florida.
Hey-oh.
So now I'm in Florida,
That's right.
which is pretty much the end.
And in the podcast, you're in Florida.
That's true. Man, the parallel is amazing. We're
So
actually going to probably finish this
finale
right when,
the series finale of this is going to be the poop episode
Yeah.
where we figure out where you pooped, all the fun stories you've been leaving out.
Right.
People can finally know.
Yep. Finally.
You know, it's really embarrassing about this podcast that's really what people want to know.
A lot of
When
people
we
were asking.
initially said, let's get your questions out there,
Yeah.
there were so many, where did you poop?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, even on Reddit, when I asked the question, a lot of people were like, where'd you go to the bathroom? It's like, what do you think?
Yeah. Where do you think?
What do you think?
In
Places.
churches and schools.
Yeah.
You idiot.
In the middle of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out soon, but we're wrapping this up.
So where did you, when you hit Florida, you entered through Alabama, correct?
No,
Through
Georgia. Alabama to
So-
Georgia, and then south to down US 19.
Okay.
But, so, before I get into this, I'm going to say that Florida is actually one of my favorite states that I walked through. And I'm not being biased a little bit, but not totally.
Right.
Because right when I walked into Florida, there were still some hills that carried over from, like, Georgia. And I was like, dang it, I thought Florida's supposed to be flat. And then about, like, 2 hours of walking, and it did flatten out, like, substantially. It's just, like, completely flat. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, this is going to be awesome. Like, walking on flat ground is so much easier, especially with the cart.
Yeah.
So, like, I was in Florida on October 31st, and Florida, the other reason why it was one of my favorite states to walk through was because I had a lot of help because my parents and friends and everything were here. And it actually got a little bit easier, and I'm going to explain why. And the first night that I got into Florida, my one of my friends, Amanda, me and her used to go to Universal Studios. That's from the...
Yeah, we just
story,
recorded that, yeah.
We used to go to Universal Studios for Halloween Horror Nights all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I told her I didn't know if I was going to make it. And when I finally got into Florida, it was Halloween. And they do, like, some more days after Halloween that you can still go.
Yeah.
So I was like, if you want to
Let's
drive up
go.
here
and
pick me up, and then we can go. I'm like, but you don't have to because I'm still pretty far north.
She was like, I'm in the car.
And she's like, I'm right behind you. No. So she's like, I still want to go. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. She's not asking any questions.
Yeah. But she said that she would. She's like, yeah, I'll drive up. I got like the next day off or whatever, and we'll drive up and we'll go this weekend. So I was like, okay. So she drove up, and it was like a 3.5 hour whatever drive for her to drive up there. And I actually got a motel room just for her. By the way, she's married and we're just like friends and stuff.
Right.
I got a 2
So you got one for her.
Right. I got we shared the same room, but it was 2 beds and stuff. But she came up because she drove all the way up there, and then she like slept over, and then we drove back in the morning. And I put my cart in her car. We had to like take it apart and everything.
Right.
Shoved it in her car. Then we drove back. But then we decided we weren't going to go that night to Halloween Horror Nights because their tickets for the fast passes were all sold out. So we decided we would go the next night. So I was like, well, since I'm in town, even though she lives, I want to say in Clearwater, which is north of St. Pete.
Right.
She said that, she's like, well, let's just go tomorrow. If you want, you can spend the night here. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm really close to home. Let me go visit Mom.
Yeah.
So she drove me to my house or whatever, and my mom wasn't home.
Oh God!
I was like texting her. I was like, "Hey mom, you gonna be home soon? I want to call you and like talk or something like that." She's like, "Yeah, I'll be home in like a couple minutes or something." So I was like, "Okay." So I actually hid behind like the house, and then waited till she drove up, and then I saw her car pull up, and then I scared her. But it was like a happy scare. Yeah, she like couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
'cause I didn't tell her any of this.
And you had a 3-foot beard,
right?
And
I
you
looked
were wearing all robes,
yeah. And carrying a staff.
and you had carrying a staff.
Yeah, and I started saying some magic tricks. Saying magic
I was going to say you had feral children gathered around you, and you spoke different
and a
languages.
pet possum.
Charcude.
Yeah.
All the kids understood.
I was like, what's that guy from The Office that he dresses up as? Dwight.
Yeah, that he dresses up as?
Yeah, the one where he's like, he hits Jim with the thing. I forget what that's.
I judge you as
impish. Impish, yeah.
I don't know what he is.
I forget what it's called.
But it's really funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, I looked like that. Surprised Mom. She was all happy.
Yeah.
We talked. I think we went out to eat or whatever. And then the next day, I told her, I'm like, I gotta
go back.
Yeah, I gotta go back, but I'm gonna go to Halloween Horror Nights. So I went to Halloween Horror Nights the next night, did that with Amanda, and then I was like, I need to get a ride back up there. So my mom was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna take a couple days off of work, and I'll just drive you back up north. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So that was kind of cool.
That was good for your friend who didn't have to spend
because I felt
hours.
bad for drive up and then back. So my mom was like, no, like let's drive up there. So for the next 3 days, because I got the motel, I think in Monticello, whatever it's called.
I think it's Monticello, yeah.
Yeah. I stayed there, like right outside there in a motel. So my mom drove me back North Florida, stayed there, and then I basically just took a backpack. So I was carrying a backpack over my shoulders now.
You dipped the
got rid of the cart.
You know what? You're so close at this point.
I wanted it, yeah. Well,
you don't need quite as many.
Right, I didn't need all this. I didn't need all the water,
and you know where you're going now. It's like when you're taking a trip, or like a long car ride or whatever.
Yeah,
and it feels like it's freaking forever. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you hit familiar territory, it seems like a snap. Like you know exactly where you're going.
And that's the thing is, I stayed on US 19, and like I knew most of the roads that I was on.
Yeah,
so I just carried my backpack and just kind of walked. I
mean, I'm not trying to say that it was easy. But it had to be easier.
Oh, definitely easier. No, I enjoyed it because I felt like this was the first time in my walk where it felt like a little bit more relaxing and more fun to me.
Yeah.
And it was all because now I didn't have to push this heavy cart. The shoulders opened up, even though I've heard that in Florida, a lot of people walking and biking on the side of the road have gotten hit. I think it's like one of the highest states that happens.
Well, that's because we have, and we might have a lot of listeners in Florida, but for people that don't, if you have a bad driver in your area, in your neighborhood, and they leave, they're coming to Florida.
Right.
So this is a conglomerate of people from all over the country.
Yeah.
And they've all either figured out that Florida has a great climate and they want to leave, or they're rich enough to move down here and retire.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all terrible drivers.
Yep. Yeah.
So everywhere else I've gone in the country, I've been to Texas, I've been to Washington State, I've been to Alabama countless times.
Right.
And I've been to New Jersey. Hands down, Florida is the worst for drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Washington State was the best for me in my personal experience.
Right.
Texas was a close second. And we were in God, Joe, if you're listening, I want to say we were by Fort Worth. I don't know exactly where, but that area.
Right. Yeah.
That wasn't bad. New Jersey's absolutely
Yeah.
just
I
like
can see,
it's just like Florida.
Yeah,
in a
I can see
sense,
that.
but not as much.
Right. No,
So-
but like you said, Florida is like a real like it. Everybody moves down to Florida.
The melting
We
pot.
have a really like diverse group of people here. It used to be they used to make fun of Florida for being like all old people, but now it's like blossomed and like you got the big cities and stuff that have a lot of the younger crowd, and then also like you have rednecks and you have the middle, it's
You
countryish people, but then
you get this guy. I'm from New York.
Yeah.
He feels the need to tell you he's from New York.
especially around here, the Tampa Bay
Oh, my
area. We got
God.
the Yankees practice. over
Yankees
here.
are in Tampa.
But then the Phillies practice around here.
Yep.
Blue Jays.
Blue
so-
Jays do, and the Rays actually practice. I think the further north.
Port Charlotte.
Yeah, and I think Miami practices somewhere around here. I don't know.
They
Anyway,
probably do. Yeah, but that's the thing.
but the
is-
Yankees are always here,
right.
and so you
Derek
always
Jeter
get
lives in
that
Tampa.
guy. Yeah, Derek Jeter lives in Tampa, and he has a mega house in Miami.
Yeah.
But they're always I'm from New York, and yeah. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Who cares? I'm from Florida. So
Yeah,
leave.
I'm from Florida. So, okay, yeah. Anyway,
I mean, yeah, for the most part.
yeah, for the most part.
But yeah, so for me, I enjoyed this kind of walking because the road was flat and carrying my backpack didn't put a lot of strain like on my back or anything. So it's like, I know.
That whole tangent was because you said you put on a backpack.
I know.
Jesus.
Got to explain it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really liked like this portion because my mom also. I always remember I read this story a long time ago before I even decided to like actually like do this walk. Even though I wanted to walk across the country, I remember reading in the newspaper that there was this kid who did walk across the country, but his mom like quit her job or she was a stay-at-home mom or something, and she like actually drove next to him as he walked. And I think he walked a different route or something from like Tampa to LA or something like that, like straight across. But his mom drove beside him, and then he would sleep in the car, and then the next day
His
he'd
mom
get up.
drove beside him?
Yeah, she like drove next to him the whole way. Like, I mean, not like slow. She probably like passed and went to like the next town, and then he walked there. And then she like picked him up.
That makes a lot more sense.
Not slow, like with her blinker, her hazards on.
What?
her hazards on the whole time.
But that would be cool. I mean, because mom probably doesn't want to walk that whole way, but she also wants to have some.
Well, he was young too.
Form of safety.
I think
How young was
he was in middle school or high school.
Oh
or
my
something.
god! Oh,
It was
okay.
weird.
Middle
Maybe
school,
maybe
there's
high
no
school.
way I'd allow it.
Yeah, that's weird,
I'm
right?
sorry, son.
He was young though. I
Yeah.
think he was like 14.
High
or
school,
something, or
okay,
15,
we'll talk.
maybe.
High school, but I would. You know what? I'd have to do the same thing that mom did. Say, listen,
no,
man,
for sure.
I'll let you do it, but there's going to have to be some contingencies.
No, like
in
trust me,
place.
if I could have done it and had somebody follow, like a friend or a relative follow
Yeah.
me, and so I could have a place to sleep, that'd be awesome. But I got it now for the next from where I was, where she dropped me off, and again I told her she knew no cheating, so she would we'd pick like a mile marker, and at the end of the night I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna make it to this mile marker. Or I would already be there, and then she'd come and pick me up, and then we'd go back to that mile marker in the morning. And we did this for about 4 days, just until I was starting to get closer to Tampa. And then by that time, I was already close to Tampa. And I think I've already mentioned this, that I live in St. Pete, or we live in St. Pete. Tampa's right over the bridge.
Yeah, it's about 30, 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Just like Clearwater.
But Tampa is like St. Pete is on a peninsula, so I wasn't going to walk through St. Pete. I was going to just walk through Tampa.
Yeah, because if you walk through St. Pete and you're trying to still go south, you have to go the Skyway.
Yeah.
And they don't allow
can't
pedestrians
walk.
on the Skyway.
No, it's too high because they're going to think you're going to jump.
Right. Too high and too many people have jumped off.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, I was trying to just get to Tampa, and my mom, because she could take off that time, she was like, yeah, I'll do that. She's like, but I can't do it once you get south of Tampa, like you're on your own again. I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
At least
Oh,
for
no.
this
No, I'm
portion.
kidding. I'm kidding,
fine.
Mom.
Yeah.
but did you go through Daytona?
No.
That's unfortunate.
No, I didn't. I'm trying to think. I didn't write it down here because I figured we'd talk about it on the next one. Because I was just gonna mention with Tampa, when I started getting close to, I think it was like Brooksville. Like as I'm walking through Brooksville, my mom actually didn't pick me up that night. My dad ended up calling me and saying, like, are you in Florida?
You're going
blah, blah,
home,
blah.
boy.
And I told him, like, listen, I'm really close. If you want, you can come pick me up and I'll stay the night at your place. And if you want to drop me off in the morning and stuff. And he actually was like, all right. So he, like, came. Well, it was funny because I told him, I was like, can you pick me up, like, the night or whatever? And he's like, yeah. And I told him tomorrow night, but it was like in the morning or something, and he got confused and he thought it was the next night. So when it was like getting dark, I was like, are you still picking me up? And he's just like, I thought you meant tomorrow. I was like, no, tonight. So he was like, oh crap, all right, I'm coming up. So him and my stepmom like drove up that night. I stopped at like a McDonald's and then
Get the two egg muffs.
You got two egg McMuffins and an orange juice. And then he drove me back, and I actually stayed with my dad. And this was like the first time that we actually like talked, where he wasn't like. I think by that time, like I'm already in Tampa. I don't have to go that much further to get to Key West. That he was just like, screw it. Like he's almost done. Like let him just finish, kind of thing. So we were all cordial with each other, and he wasn't like, mad.
Robert,
he just like drives home. That's it. No more walking.
Yeah. He's like, can I get an appetizer? Oh, first it's a walk across the country. Now it's an appetizer.
It just never ends with you. So, yeah, but it was cool being in this area because, like, I did get to see a lot of, I have a lot of friends who live in Tampa and a lot of friends who live in St. Pete. And I actually hung out with a lot of my friends while I was in town. My friend's dad, who's named Eric, he like drives for work, and he actually saw me on the side of the road. I mean, he knew I was on the side of the road, but he stopped, got lunch with me. I hung out with a couple of my other friends, like Jason. Shout out to Jason and Kyle and Michael, Manny. They all like bought me food while I was around Tampa and Brooksville. And then another friend of mine, this other kid, Eric, lived in Tampa, and he took me out drinking. And we went drinking one night, but I wanted to keep walking the next day. So, like, I literally walked the next day, like, hungover. And I was like, this was such a bad decision. I should have just taken a rest day. Should have just rested. But I tried walking anyways. And it still, like, made walking through, like, central Florida, like, kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then once I got out of Tampa, it was very, like, it was hard not to want to, like, just stop and go home because I was so close. But I was like, no, I got to push through. And that's when my mom was like, all right, well, I'm giving you your cart back, and it's time to continue through. And I said, okay. So I got my cart, and then I'll admit I got a little, like, sad that I had to, like, have my cart again and put, all the... Because I like just carrying, like, not only did I carry a backpack, but I carried, like, a light backpack. Because I never needed a lot of stuff. I would just have someone, to, like, pick me up or whatever. So I was like, no. Now I got to go back to the cart, and that's when I was like in Ruskin, which is south of Tampa.
It's crazy now because now when you start naming places, I know exactly where you are.
Right?
How fun!
Yeah. It's going to carry on throughout the rest of this one, too.
Oh, cool.
Exactly. You're like, oh yeah, I know that place. Yeah, I've been there. I've driven it. So yeah, I liked walking through this area, and it was nice to like. Although Tampa is crazy. And
I would not recommend walking through Tampa.
Yeah, I know.
If you want to go for any sort of walk, don't do that.
I know.
Yeah.
It's one of the only big cities I walked through, and I was like, well, I know Tampa. It won't be that bad.
Then you got
I walked
there.
through, and I was like, man, I shouldn't have walked through Tampa. There's like crazy guys like shouting in the middle of the road. I'm like, when I go to Tampa, I'm not
you're
in those
walking
areas.
with a cart, so he's going to look over and see a kindred spirit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, man.
Let me get some of them cans.
You've seen the aliens, haven't you?
Dude, there's like a guy like who was holding like a sign and like shouting at cars as they were driving by, and I was like, man, I never realized like Tampa was like this in certain areas. I always stayed to like the nicer areas of the downtown, or where the Strass Center is and all that kind of stuff.
You thought, oh, there's culture on this walk.
Everything's
everything
artsy
one
and
could
beautiful.
possibly want is this way.
But
you
no,
found
it wasn't.
the junkyard dog attacking the bones of a rotisserie chicken.
Yep. Which was depressing, but I got through it, and I just got my cart at the bottom part of Tampa, or like in the Ruskin area, and then that's when my mom was like, all right, you're back to it, like go finish it, and I'll meet you. And she was going to meet me in Key West anyways. Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I'll see you in another 2 weeks or whatever. But we'll stop there, and all right. Finish. We might even finish it up by the next episode. I don't know.
Let's also plug the walk here. Guys, you should really check out the dramatized version of this. And let's talk Spreaker.
Oh, yeah. We're on Spreaker now.
Yes.
You can download the app for your mobile phone.
There is a
whatever.
Spreaker app?
Yeah, there's a Spreaker app, and it's actually a pretty good app. Like, I've tried different apps for my phone. I have an iPhone, so I have, like, the Apple Podcast app, but then I also have...
Spreaker Podcast Radio is what it's called.
Yeah, see? And I have the Overcast app, and I used to like Overcast, but actually the Spreaker app is pretty cool because you can put... different podcasts like in order of how you want to listen to it, and they make like playlists and stuff too.
And the important thing now is you can look everything up by Seven Lamb.
Yeah.
You don't have to look for individual shows if that's how you've been doing it. You can queue up anything you want to listen to and look us all up under one house now, which is so much easier.
It's so much easier. If you put just the number 7 and then LAMB, you'll find like all of our podcasts under that umbrella, which is nice. Instead of saying, like, look for Paralyzed, look for End of All Hope, look for Story, look for Across America.
Now it's all going to be right there.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anything yet, but you said this is going to be transferable over to YouTube.
It's on YouTube now.
There you go.
All of the podcasts are on YouTube, and then whenever they upload a new episode, it goes straight to YouTube.
There you go.
So, and then, yeah, I've got it fixed. Even we're on SoundCloud and Stitcher. I need to get on Google Play, but we're on Spotify, and hopefully soon we'll be on iHeartRadio. So you'll be able to listen to these podcasts pretty much anywhere.
Which is pretty freaking huge. I just did Seven Lamb.
Yeah. On which one?
Actually, I did YouTube Seven Lamb. Should have done
yeah.
YouTube Seven Lamb.
Well, either one. But yeah, so you can find all of our stuff pretty much anywhere where you can listen to podcasts.
Yeah, no, well, anyway, we'll figure this out, and then we will get everything over to you. But thank you, as always, for listening. This is episode 40.
No, it's not.
Freaking 7.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to stop at 40.
You don't even go here.
This is episode 40.
47. So, yes, maybe we'll round it off at 50, but we probably won't. It's probably going to be 48, 49.
I think it'll be like 49.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll do an aftermath episode where we'll just talk.
Yeah,
try to make it like a
and try to get some
50.
more questions for people who have now listened to everything, stuff that you really want to know. Mm-hmm. I will make sure to ask Robert, and there'll be plenty of stupidity in between.
Yeah, like always.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you checking us out. Have a wonderful day.
This has been a Seven Lamb production.